I'm going to be doing some workshops on how to assemble the FarmerTec uh, Huztl chainsaw kits. And I'll go step by step. I'll show you the different aspects of it. Um, there's going to be the tool side, the actual assembly, tuning. There's a wealth of things that go into assembling a working chainsaw. And what happens is folks get the kits and they go, "Oh gosh, how am I going to get this done?" And they become Tarzan and they start forcing things, and then the kit doesn't turn out to be durable, and then they want to blame somebody. And the best thing to do is to take this this opportunity to have fun, and I'm telling you, it's fun to take a whole mess of parts. They send you a box, and in that box of parts turns into this. And this works. You can take this out in the woods next to your buddy who paid $1,200 for his saw, and you can cut as much wood as he does. Now, you need to remember, you need to have a sharp chain. There's a lot of aspects to it, but I'm going to show you in the coming weeks, and it should make it simple, or simpler, or more enjoyable, depending on how you want to look at it. But some of the things that you need to think about is your oil, your fuel. I've seen a lot of people who have gas cans don't even have lids on them, and they'll put that gas in this chainsaw and it won't run, or it won't run well, or it won't run long, because it's got water in it, and it's come from a gas station that doesn't change their filters. And our cars are much different than these little small engines are. And fuel quality is really, really important. The oil being measured properly. I have a gas can that says it's a 1 gallon gas can, but it's actually a 1 1/4 gallon gas can. And so if you take it to the gas station and you fill that can up, and then you come home and you put the pre-measured bottle of Steel Ultra oil in it, it's not going to have a 50-to-1 ratio. There are a lot of stumbling opportunities where you just don't think about it. You're busy. You got to pick the kids up. You got to, go to work and work 60 hours a week for a dummy. So these are a lot of things that we'll talk about. We'll just make sure that you think of it, as you go along and consider it. And when you get to the end of the journey, it will be very satisfying. You're going to have a working saw. Now, there are some instances where you're going to get into it and you're going to need to go down to the parts store to buy something. And that parts store is going to be your Steel dealership, because these are clones. So that means that the part that fits on the real Steel will fit on the FarmerTec Huztl saw. And sometimes, this is a really complicated thing, but everybody's used to aftermarket parts. If you own an automobile, you do not go to the Ford dealership to buy every part. You can't afford to do it. And so this is just like that. These parts are aftermarket parts. They're made in the same country that the other parts are made. So, there's a lot of misconceptions. And I happen to know firsthand that FarmerTec is interested in supplying you and me with a quality aftermarket part. So, with that said, there will be times when that aftermarket part is just, there's a little something wrong with it. And so rather than putting your project on hold for 2 weeks while the part ships from China, the replacement part, you might want to run down to your steel dealer and buy it and bring it home and install it. And then go ahead and complete the return process, and you'll have a spare. You just have a little parts box. I've replaced, for instance, this is called an Elastostart, and this is a steel product. Theirs was fine, but this one was springy, and there's so much compression on it, it made it easier to start. But they've actually, since I did this, they've actually have an aftermarket one of these. So, a lot of opportunity. That was just an example. Didn't mean to go into a rant. And some of the forums, chainsaw forums, you can get technical support, because they don't. They just sell the kits, and they expect the buyer to be savvy enough to use tools to build it correctly, because you're getting a savings, and that savings is they're not doing it for you. So that's your responsibility. But we're here to help you. So you find the right thread in the forum, and you go in, you join, you introduce yourself, and you read. Start at the first post and read all of them. So one of them's up to like 1,900 posts on this particular saw on the MS 660. But it's a journey. And have you a piece of paper or a pad of paper, and you write down, let's say you get to the introduction of the bag that has all the rubber parts in it. And so you might make a note on the paper that post number 101 contains information about the rubber parts. And then you'd move along, and you'd find that post 200 has information about assembling the crank. And so just move through the whole thread. Make your notes. Don't try to remember it all, because and people have their opinions, and you'll see opinions change as you read through these these posts. It's really fun. You'll get into it. But that's the source of information for you. Don't try to do this alone. I'm sure there are mechanics that don't need anybody's help for anything, but there are a lot of us that could use a hand, and it'd be nice to make a new friend. So be sure and check that out. But your source for these parts, you'll go to Huztl.net, and I'll put I'll write that out for you in the description. And currently, let's see, this is the 1st of January. They just redid their website so that it was mobile friendly, and they had to start from scratch. So they're going to have to re-enter all their products that they've got thousands. So you might not see what you need. And if I were you, I would send them an email. And another trick when you're dealing with somebody that's on the other side of the world is their country has different customs. And the Chinese enjoy festivals. And so I guess, they shut down the businesses and they go home to their families and they enjoy one another. Americans don't do that. We have holidays, but, people still work through them. Well, not them. They go home. So you don't want to order a part and expect it, and during that time, order it either, the day before or the day after they leave and expect to get it in 10 or 15 days. It's not going to happen. So you need to be responsible enough, and they have started to announce. They didn't realize that was a problem, but they've discovered it, and so they're going to announce when when there's a festival. And the implication is they're not going to say we're going to be closed. They're going to say, hey, it's Chinese New Year, and Chinese New Year begins on January whatever, and it ends on February whatever, and that's your cue to adjust your ordering for that. And another thing is if you get something that's not right, the way to handle it is to let them know and to be specific and to provide a clear photo of what is wrong and to clearly tell them what you think they need to do, and don't tell them to put it where the sun don't shine, because that's not going to be helpful. And they'll learn what's happening with their product. If you don't say anything, then the suppliers that they're buying from over there in China are getting away with murder. In other words, they're making a profit where they shouldn't. So kindly send them a clear, and it's going to take you 10 minutes to do, I know, but this is your hobby, or might become your hobby, and it's a great way to ensure that you enjoy your hobby. So that's all I've got. So remember, we're going to do some workshops, and you'll just need to check and find when those begin to occur, which I expect to start by the 1st of February of 2017. Okay, thanks a lot.